No, we're just going to go ahead and do it. Like, there's no reason not to.
Might as well.
My God. You could argue that we could have started this far earlier than this. You're right, Josh Soroka. Each week, this show does start earlier. Next week, we might be joining you. Well, actually, it's the 49ers game. If there's going to be a game that could be competitive, maybe it would be the 49ers, but even that at this point, I'm not sure that I'm planning on it. It is the Project Game Day postgame show from the Live Casino Hotel studio of Pressbox. I am Glenn Clark. He is Eric Arditti from BarstoolSports.com. I don't know how many ways there are to just keep saying the Ravens are really good, the Ravens are really good, the Ravens are really good, the Ravens are really good. But Eric, the Ravens are really good. I don't know if you've noticed that. I don't know if that's something.
Tell me
that. Yeah. I can confirm, in fact, that the Ravens are really good. As I keep saying, like I feel like a broken record at this point. I can't determine the future. I can't tell you that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I can't tell you that they're going to win every game they play the rest of the way. What I can tell you is it's going to take a nearly sublime performance or a nearly perfect performance from a very good football team for someone to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. And when I mean like nearly perfect, I mean really legitimately nearly perfect.
You're going to need like a bus crash or like a flat tire.
Yeah, that would also
like
be
Lamar
something.
Getting to the game with like 6 minutes left.
Yeah, that would also be something that could help. But I mean, to legitimately beat this team, you might not be able to punt for the entirety of a game.
Is Sam Cook the loneliest person?
Oh,
in
he's got to be. He's just got to be. It's got to kill him.
What does he do now? I wonder if does he have.
Well, he still gets to go out there for extra points, so he's got that going for him.
I wonder if he has like Pro Bowl incentives in his contract.
Oh, it's got to kill him, right?
Because he's like, well, great.
I'm not
take
gonna be able
family
to
to Orlando this year. Thanks, Lamar.
Well, hopefully nobody's going to be in Orlando this year. Hopefully they're all going to be a little bit too busy in order to make it to Orlando. Yeah, no doubt. All of it's true. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is silly. But even in these fourth down situations, like early in the game when it was 3rd and 12 and they decided to just run the ball 2 times, which is just the ultimate middle finger that you could ever give to anyone. You're backed up to 3rd and 12 and they're like, well, we'll just hand it off 2 times and get a first down.
We'll do it twice. It's fine.
What is going on? Like, what is happening right now? And it's important that we keep saying all of these things. It's important that we don't take the way that the offensive line is playing for granted, that we don't take for granted that, it's not just Lamar. It's a lot of Lamar. Mm-hmm. It's whatever percentage you want to call it. Sure, it's fine. It's that. But there's so many other things that are going well, which is why it's not even as simple as saying, well, what can we do against Lamar? I think the answer is nothing. Because I don't think you can get a day in which Lamar struggles and the offensive line struggles and the running back struggle, and now you're not a dominant, unbeatable force.
Yeah, I mean, like the running game tonight looked. Gus Edwards looked awesome. I thought even Justice Hill when he came in, they look fast again. They have fresh legs. I mean, I was talking to my buddy. Is Mark Ingram the best free agent signing this season? We came up with Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, he's worked out really well, obviously.
But again, it's like, all right, you factor in the money. What is Ingram, 3 for 15?
Yeah, I mean,
I said, has he ever been stopped for a loss? Not this year, I don't think.
He had the one fumble against the Patriots.
Yeah,
that's literally the entirety of his struggles this season.
And tonight he's over 100. I thought he's been awesome. And again, the running game. I mean, and they've been great with Skura going out. Their starting center.
Yep.
Got taken out and is probably going to be out.
And a center who's played incredibly well.
Yeah, he's not Jeremy Zuttah getting pushed back every game.
Correct.
He's played very well.
Yes.
This
so we can come back to. It's just going to be like
the post game.
I agree with you. This is great right now. Hey, cool. Who else is good? Do you guys like colors? Do you guys like shapes? Ice cream is fun. Like, this is what it is. Oh, yeah, Miles Boykin's making absurd, ridiculous catches in the fourth quarter because, sure, why not? Let's just keep doing that. At some point, I'm pretty sure they're going to parade a unicorn out to the field and give everyone sashes and tell them that their mothers are wonderful people. Like, this is what's going on. Whatever the perfect scenario is, this is what's happening. You almost can't believe it to be true.
It is. It's like literally everything that could go well for the Ravens is going well. And
yes.
It's like week after week after week after week after week.
Facts.
Going in, like before this game, they have been pretty healthy. They've been hit a few times, but other than that, like everyone's stayed healthy, and that just doesn't happen. And obviously now with Skura, but again, it's just like whatever could go well for them is going well, and whatever could go wrong for the other teams are going wrong.
I mean,
how did the Browns beat them?
Well, I mean, it was almost a different team at that point, right? And Brandon Williams, that's the other thing, too, is that I don't think Brandon Williams that day being out was such an incredible story in that football game that I don't think we can really look, man, I think that we've seen a couple things, right? So here's what I'll say. If there's a way to beat the Ravens, the Seahawks were the team that showed you how to beat the Ravens, right? They just effed it up by having Russell Wilson throw that interception, which turned... What you have to do in order to beat the Ravens is come out and you have to click from the beginning of the game, and you have to dictate pace, and you have to dictate tempo, and put them behind the 8 ball and force them to not be able to do whatever they want in play calling, to put them in a situation where they have to get away from something. They want 7 to 8 minute drives. They want that.
Yeah, they live off that.
Right. So when you put them in a situation where they feel like they've got to get back into the game a little bit quicker, then maybe... And I'm still saying maybe. I'm not telling you that you will be able to beat the Ravens. I'm saying maybe you have a chance. But if you don't do that, you're hopeless.
Yeah.
If you come out, I'm telling you, man, it's silly. When they went 3 and out to start the game tonight, when the Rams went 3 and out,
game over.
There was no doubt in my mind what was occurring the rest of the way.
I asked my buddy, I said, if you're in LA, what do you do the rest of the night? I said, you turn the game off right then and go, all right, well, it's 5:30. What do we do? You go surfing?
Yeah, correct. Maybe there's a nice place to go get some sushi or something.
I mean, again, same thing, because it was like, and the way they've started the games now, like they score first, and again, it's like, all right, you're gonna play you're gonna make that offense on the other team play from behind, and the Rams offense,
they
stinks.
can't do that, right?
They stink. Like we just said off air. Gurley's a normal person now, and Goff looks like I feel like I could outthrow Goff out there.
Yeah, arguably the case. And like this is the crazier part to me too, Eric, is that like we talk about how good the 49ers defense is, and they're incredible. We just saw what they did last night. The Packers didn't convert a third down.
Yeah,
on Aaron effing Rodgers didn't convert a third down all night last night. The thing being, I don't think you're beating the Ravens with defense. I just don't think defense is beating the Ravens.
It's going to be like the Chiefs.
It might be
to beat them in a shootout.
Correct. They might be able to get a stop at some point, which the Rams couldn't do tonight. They might at some point be able to do something the Rams weren't able to do. But even the best defense, I don't think is the answer for how a team is capable of beating the Ravens.
No.
You have to have your defense make some plays and match that with an offense that's up for the task. And so while I respect the 49ers and I was unbelievably impressed by what they did last night, I still don't go into next week having any sort of fear. The only thing I maybe fear, right, would be the Chiefs and the idea that with a healthy Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, if you see them again in the playoffs, they might be up for a shootout type of game again at some point, and that could be an issue for you. That's about it. Like, that's about the list of what I fear. I think that's the only way you're losing is if another team is able to punch you in the mouth. I just don't. I think all these things that we talk about with offense are so real. The Ravens are doing something no one can account for.
Yeah.
And it's at every level. Aaron Donald is maybe the best defensive lineman in football. What did he have for Marshall Yanda tonight?
Yeah, it was him and who is it? Orlando Brown on that side.
Yes.
I think they showed at halftime 30 snaps, zero tackles, zero tackles for loss, 0 quarterback pressures.
Marshall Yanda was so far downfield on most plays that I thought he was going to be called an ineligible man. He wore them out. This is such a part of the story. All right, Scott Turner. Say it with me, Glenn. The Ravens have the best offense in the NFL. We've kind of known that for a little while.
Weeks,
yeah, right?
Weeks where that's been. It's like ever since Mahomes went out and Tyreek Hill, where everyone, because I think they were the favorite. They were the consensus going in the year. It's this offense is record-setting, blah blah blah, and the obviously because of injuries, the conversation has shifted to holy crap, look at Lamar and Ingram and all these guys.
On the flip side, what's happened the last couple weeks is now this defense has been able to match, probably in large part because of what the offense is doing. They've been able to match that and say, okay, you guys are going to go put together methodical drives. We'll go swarm the football, and we'll go make plays knowing that if we make a mistake at some point, it's not going to do much.
Okay. Yeah, it used to be that, I mean, for years we saw if the defense gives up 10, the offense isn't getting 10.
Right.
Isn't getting 10.
Correct.
Now it's like, hey, the offense is going to put up 35 easily.
Right, so go
easily.
Try
fun.
some things.
Go have fun.
Go send guys on blitzes that you would never.
The Jimmy Smith, and who was it, Peters?
Yes.
That was like, what a call. What a call.
Who does that?
I looked at my friend on the replay and I just said, that's a hell of a call.
But you can do that because the offense is so good that if you happen to get burnt on that one play, so what? You can take these types of crazy risks as you have such a crazy belief in your offense. It's nuts. Our buddy Josh Strokas, Section 336. Maybe one week they should have RG3 start the first quarter just to test the Ravens a little bit.
I mean,
obviously they're not going to do that, but like
I want to know the over/under on the number of passes the rest of the season that Lamar throws in the fourth quarter.
The rest of the year? The rest of the regular season.
Yeah, regular season.
So here's like, if you want me to say something to have a take,
I want to sit down.
Well, no, I'll offer you a take, and you and I talked about this a little bit before we started the show. I did think that it was questionable that they left him in there and had him throwing the ball still. Like, he took a shot, probably the biggest shot he took all night, throwing the ball out of bounds on the play where I think it was Taylor Rapp who just got right up the middle and was about to take him down. It was really remarkable that he got rid of the ball before he went down. I'm worried, and I wrote about this last week at PressBoxOnline.com. The Ravens shouldn't think butt kiss about the NFL MVP thing. It should not be remotely relevant to them at all. They should have no concern about it. It shouldn't be a conversation. It shouldn't be in the back of their mind. It should be non-existent. One thing should matter: winning the Super Bowl. That's it. That's the only thing that should matter.
And I feel like if you ask Lamar or Harbaugh, they will say that, and I think they truly believe it. I think all this stuff is brought on by the fans and the media.
I specifically believe that about Lamar. Like, I am so sold on this kid as being almost perfect, like almost like the test tube of what you would want in a professional athlete, right? Like, he drove really fast one time, and like, okay,
that's it.
You know what I mean? Like, right. Outside of that, like, it almost seems unreal. It almost seems like this kid can't really be. This is who everyone wanted Tim Tebow to be. He's perfect. He's perfect.
It's like in the video games when you can, like, oh, you're at the interview. Here are your 4 options to answer this question, and you answer the right one
every time,
every single time. That's literally what he does.
So I don't doubt that for one bit. That it is of no consequence to him whatsoever. I worry that there are other people that say, we want to do it for him. We want him to be MVP. We want to stack his numbers. We want to make it overwhelming so that, like, they have to make him MVP, that there can't be any debate about Russell Wilson, that it's just Lamar Jackson. He's obviously MVP. That's the way it goes. I worry that there are other guys that maybe even trying to do it for, like, good reasons, again, because they love Lamar and Lamar's, done everything. They all of those things. I worry about that a little bit, because it felt like, and that was at that point a 35-6 game, it felt like you knew there was no need, as early as it was, as silly as it seems, that you're pulling your quarterback out of a game against a winning football team on the road
Monday Night Football.
Right, late in the season. The truth is, you're turning around and playing another game in 6 days after a trip across the country, right? Like, get him off the field earlier than later.
Against a very good team, too.
Yes, correct. The team that you're playing against on Sunday is an incredibly good team. So that was the first time I had an ounce of, I wonder if somebody's thinking about MVP. I wonder if somebody on that side of the field is saying, yeah,
let's get him another passing
Let's
touchdown.
get him back out there and do this one more time. And look, they were going to punt at one point, and the Rams, committed a penalty. So it would have been interesting to know if they had punted there and the Rams gotten the ball back, would the Ravens have gone back to Lamar Jackson or not? I don't know. It felt at that moment like the first time I ever wondered, hey, are they thinking at all? Like, is MVP a thought they're having right now? Because they can't. Like, they have to just throw that entirely out. Who cares? Protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
Make sure he's on the field so you can go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like if he say he does win the Super Bowl, or say he wins the MVP, and they, God forbid he gets hurt and they don't win. No one's gonna look back and go,
yeah, but at least we got
what a hell
MVP.
of a season.
Right,
you remember that Lamar MVP?
Yeah.
It's
no.
Well,
how did it work out for the Panthers?
2015 Panthers, Cam Newton, exactly.
Yep. From Jack, you just hope they're not peaking at the wrong time. We've talked about this a couple times of late, the peaking too early concept. And I get it. It's a real thing, right? Like, not every team that's the best team in football at Thanksgiving has won the Super Bowl. Some have. There have been teams that were the best team in the NFL at Thanksgiving and went on to win the Super Bowl. But not everyone does. And there's myriad reasons for it, right? Like, sometimes it's related to injury. Sometimes it is because the more other teams see of you and realize who you are, the more effort they put in specifically to figuring out what they can do against you. I'm not telling you that there's no chance that the Ravens couldn't be victim of what the Chiefs, fell victim to a year ago, which is just the wrong day. They played really well, but not quite well enough. Maybe that happens. Maybe it happens. But when you look at the Ravens and what they do running the football, how well their defense is playing, their offensive line being one of the most dominant offensive lines I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how that doesn't keep going. Short of, the health factor.
And, again, I mean, playoffs, cold weather, blah blah blah. The running the ball it translates in the playoffs. It's not like in baseball
wherever
where it's
you go.
Hey, when the weather gets cold, these home runs aren't going to be home runs. It's like you're going to need to run the ball.
But we say that about the teams that don't do that.
Exactly.
We say that about the teams that are pass happy. Mm-hmm. We say, hey, that might not translate when the ball feels like a boulder.
Yeah, when it's 15 degrees in Foxborough or whatever.
Correct.
But it's like, no, this style of play translates into January.
It's the way it's supposed to work.
That's how it used to always be.
Josh also got back in and said this is the most balanced the Ravens have ever been. Both sides of the ball playing to a high level. Yes, fact. All facts. Shepard, speaking to what we were talking about, time of possession is 37 minutes to 17. The defense is fresh every single snap. It's a huge key to their success. Mm-hmm. Correct. This defense did not play well to start the season. When the offense got its best, and let's put in those other factors, right? Jimmy Smith got healthy. Mm-hmm. They brought in Marcus Peters. I think we all are kind of at the point where we can say we think that they're better with Chuck Clark on the field than they were with Tony Jefferson. Mm-hmm. You don't. That's not a knock in saying Tony Jefferson's a bad football player. I just think they've proven to be better with Chuck Clark out there than they were with Tony Jefferson.
Yeah, and it took a season-ending injury to get him on the field, but it's like if it's better for the team, then
he's the one that's been wearing the
green
thing.
Dot. When I was here for the Browns game,
right,
all we talked about was there was miscommunication. That was the word of the season.
The long Nick Chubb touchdown run,
it was
right?
all the miscommunication, and that's what they were saying in the postgame. And I feel like you haven't heard that word
at all
since
Chuck Clark has taken over that responsibility. Like it's completely, and he's played good football. Like he probably should have picked up the one fumble tonight. Like that.
Yeah,
probably
I
should have
think he was looking to score. I think he should have jumped on it. I think he was looking for that touchdown.
But outside of that, dog. I mean, come on. AJ, yeah, poor Sam Cook, 2 straight games with no punts. It's.
You think he showers after he's not going to shower before he gets on the plane.
It's a long flight to be on without having showered.
True,
he might have head back to the showers now. He might have wandered in a little bit early in order to take a shower, man. From Scott, if Lamar has to leave after 3 quarters because we're winning so big, I'm good with that. I want MVP, but I want Super Bowl way more. And that's the column that I wrote for Pressbox last week, which is, my headline was, I don't care if Lamar Jackson wins MVP. Mm-hmm. And I did that I had them do that purposely to make it sound more bombastic than it was. I'm not saying I don't think Lamar Jackson should be the MVP. I just don't care. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's not going to change my life in any way if Lamar Jackson is MVP or not. But it will make my life better if the Ravens win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's a fact.
You're not going to be at a parade in February when Lamar has he won the MVP. It's like, all right.
Hopefully he's unavailable to be at the ceremony that night.
Yeah.
Hopefully
he's in his hotel room. Yeah.
Correct. Hopefully that's the case, that you can't have Lamar Jackson accept the MVP award this year.
On behalf of Lamar, we have
whoever
blah, blah,
it is. Bring out Joe Flacco to accept the MVP award for Lamar Jackson. He's all right. The point being, when I say that, what I'm saying is stop it. If you get to the end of the season, let's say the Patriots were to lose a couple of games and you got the number 1 seed clinched by week 16, don't play him.
I was going to say cut his shoelaces.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can't play, man. I'm sorry.
I don't care if that means that Russell Wilson's going to do enough to clinch MVP. I don't care about it. All I care about is that Lamar Jackson, who changes the world with his sheer existence on the football field, is available. Yeah. That's all I care about. Mm-hmm. So I am inclined. I get it. It was almost extreme. The notion of saying there's still a quarter left in this football game and we're going to bench our quarterback? It sounds extreme. But do it.
I don't think there's any question about it. I get that, and especially in today's day and age where it's all right, NFL MVP. Can you name who won MVP 2 years ago?
No, of course not.
There you go.
Of course
it's all right, and I
probably Tom Brady, but I don't remember
because it took me a minute to remember Mahomes.
Right,
last year.
You remember Mahomes, and that's the list.
My brain.
Yes, exactly. And you remember Cam Newton because of how absurd that year was.
Yeah, but it's in 5 years, no one is going to go 2019, the year of Lamar, that MVP.
Right. I do get that we refer to guys as former MVPs sometimes, but we often refer to them as former MVPs when we don't have something better to say about them.
Yeah.
We refer to them.
Marino.
Correct.
Two-time MVP.
When we talk about Tom Brady, do we ever refer to him by his MVP awards?
No.
When we talk about insert name here. When we talk about Joe Montana, do you ever think you don't even know how many MVP awards Joe Montana
I'm like,
won?
oh, crap, I don't know.
Because it doesn't matter. Yeah. There's one thing that matters. Hoisting a trophy at the end of the year. That's it. Catch all the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where they have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports. But let's be fair. Again, we're splitting hairs a little bit to find something to complain about, which is the notion that a team didn't take their quarterback out of the game with an entire quarter left to play.
It's a good problem to have if you're a Ravens fan.
It's unfathomable. Like, I can't believe these words are coming out of our mouth.
It was Tom Brady 2 years ago, too.
I mean, it seemed like a pretty safe bet at
Matt
that point.
Ryan in 2016. Gun to my head, I would never have guessed that.
I would have remembered Cam Newton, Pat Mahomes, and nothing between those. I specifically only remember Pat Mahomes. By next year, I'll have forgotten that it was Pat Mahomes.
Exactly.
And I only remember Cam Newton 2015 just because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, because he was having a Lamar-type season.
Correct.
We've never seen him do this, and it's like he rushed for 600 yards.
I mean, yeah, correct. Fact. Tim from Bel Air gets in. Yes, Sam Cook did get the punt the last drive. So
he's shower.
For those of you that are listening to this show tomorrow, on Tuesday, because you went to bed earlier and you woke up and you're like, I wonder what the guys had to say. We started the show with 12 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter because that's how absurd of a blowout this thing was. And so, yes, when we said Sam Cook didn't punt again for the second straight game, we didn't know that Sam Cook was going to come back out 2 plays later and get his first punt in weeks. So just keep that in mind. Also says Jared Goff is seeing ghosts in garbage time. Also, look, at this point, the Ravens are just doing whatever. They're just sort of saying, let's go out and have fun because that's where they are. Again, unfortunately, you don't get to keep any of these points for next week. You don't get to keep any of these points for the playoffs. As fun can be.
There's a game in 6 days.
Exactly right. And you got to travel back across the country in order to get ready for it. Now, the good news is the other team has to travel across the country, too, in order to play that football game. And this is traditionally a difficult week for practice because you try to respect wanting to give the guys some time on Thursday with their families. But it's going to be a really difficult sell, particularly this year for the Ravens, because what they normally do is say, hey, we're going to do some more work on Tuesday than we usually would. But in order, the trade-off is all we're going to have you do on Thursday is come in, do a
little walkthrough almost.
Right, and then we'll let you get out and spend some time with your family before we get back together, maybe a little bit later on Friday. Historically, the Ravens, even bad Ravens teams, have tried to do that. Most teams try to do that.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving, man. You're trying to treat human beings
as people.
Correct, with an amount of respect. That will be a tougher sell because it's a short week. They're not going to get back in until the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Frankly, early morning.
Yeah,
at this point. They won't be back until 5 a.m., maybe at the earliest. So it's going to be really hard to try to do any work tomorrow.
It's like a lost day almost.
Right. So they're kind of in a bad spot for getting ready for Sunday. They still want to try to do something for the players to give them some time with their family on Thursday. It's going to be a tough week. It's going to be a tough week. You like the way the team's playing going into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's grab a break, and we'll come back in. We will look forward a little bit more to the San Francisco game and just continue to high-five each other and give strangers hugs. It's that type of week, man. It's that type of feeling around this town. It is a good time to be a Baltimore Ravens fan. He's Eric Arditti from Barstool Sports. He's in studio with us. It's the Project Game Day postgame show. Give me more like 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, and we'll be right back to wrap things up.
Hey, this is Stan the Fan. You know we're all hoping for a special season out of our football team. When it comes to dining out casually and affordably, I know a place that is special every season. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. Not only are they known all over for their great steamed crabs and crab cakes, they have a couple specials you want to keep in mind. Monday night is crab cake night. Tuesday night is ribs night. Wednesday night is steak night, partnered with half-priced bottles of your favorite wines. And Thursday night is lobster night. So check out the Costas Inn this football season, and you may come back whatever the season. That's the Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard, 410-477-1975.
Need groceries today but don't have time to shop? Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient.
This is Stan the Fan for Glen Burnie Transmissions, located right in the heart of Glen Burnie for almost 60 years. If you suspect you're having a transmission problem, GBT can save you hundreds of dollars over taking it to the dealers for a repair. Make an appointment for a free diagnostic and estimate. Call GBT at 855-728-1841. Their mission is simple: to provide excellent service at a reasonable price. Go to their website at gbt-online.com to check out all of the 5-star reviews issues. Let my friend Mark Schwartzman and his GBT team take the troubles out of transmission troubles. Call them today at 855-728-1841.
Respect. It's more than a word. In the U.S. Army, it is one of our core values, earned through selfless service to our nation and making a difference both at home and abroad. On the Army team, respect is earned daily. And now, in addition to earning respect, you may earn up to $40,000 in bonuses if you qualify. To learn more, visit goarmy.com/bonus or call 1-800-USA-ARMY, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Catch all of the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where we have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Enjoy $6.99 burgers on Mondays, $5.99 nachos on Thursdays, and drink specials throughout the season to help you cheer on your favorite teams. Come in today and try something new from our seasonal menu. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports. So, no, I don't need that. I don't need rejoiner music. We're all right. This is the Project Game Day postgame show. Eric and I, when we started the postgame show, there was a moment where we said legitimately, is there a chance we don't get to the end of the game? Like, is there a chance that we do this entire show and don't make it to the final gun? We cut it close. We're going to get there. We're going to get there as the Ravens are out in victory formation. They're going to win this game 45-6 will be the final score in a game that honestly wasn't even that close.
Like we said, it was over the second the Ravens deferred. The Rams went 3 and out, and Hollywood caught that touchdown.
It's just unbelievable, man. It's just unbelievable where we are. I almost can't get over it. Paul, I love you, man, but Paul says, hey, I heard Chris Moore got activated. Why is he still on the team? That's the only response I can give you is, who effing cares? And Paul, I hope you don't personally take offense to that, because I do. I love you, and I appreciate that you always check in with us all the time. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, why is that even a thought that's running through your mind at this point? Everything is so good. You got to scrape
the bottom of the barrel for something.
Right. I guess in order to come up with something to complain about, we've got to talk about Chris Moore. Who cares?
Sure.
Right. That's where we're at. That's why things are so good. So now the Ravens improved to 9-2. Again, all this comes down to is, can they keep winning out? Because the Patriots, the likelihood of the
weekend by,
the likelihood of the Patriots, I think they're going. I'm convinced that they are going to lose a game. And if the Ravens win out, they'll be the number 1 seed. But I'm not convinced they're going to lose 2.
The Patriots?
Right.
Yeah.
Even as mediocre as they appear to be, even as beatable as they look, I just sort of think they figure out a way to get by. I'm not convinced they lose 2 games. I'm convinced they're going to lose 1. I can't fathom that a team that's this pedestrian maybe is unfair, but this beatable, this flawed, isn't going to lose a football game the rest of the season.
Well, it's normally like a Miami late in the season. They already played in
something
Miami.
Goofy, right?
But it's like I don't think it would shock anyone if because I think they play the Bills, I guess, in 2 weeks.
That sounds right. Yeah,
So,
they do
like,
definitely have that.
If they fall to the Bills, I don't think anyone's going to go, holy crap, you see that? It's going to be, this seems about right, because, again, it seems like the last few weeks has been like, this could be the week. That
certainly has felt that way. I mean, it really is. I genuinely never believed the Cowboys were going to be the team to do it, just because
I thought they could have.
Nah, the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys against good teams. They never beat anyone who's any good.
Yep.
So they go to Houston this week, right? Like, I know that we all saw Houston get their asses handed to them in Baltimore 2 weeks ago, but the Patriots aren't as good as the Ravens are, and the Texans are at home. It wouldn't stun me if the Patriots lost that football game.
No.
The following week at home against the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs still have a lot to play for.
Yeah.
I can't fathom them getting back into the mix for a first-round bye at this point, and now with the Raiders losing. Look, the Raiders are still close enough, although they play the Raiders this week. So if they beat the Raiders, there's still enough to play for.
If they win this week,
it's really going to be almost impossible for the Raiders to overtake them, but they still do need to lock it up, right? Like, they would put themselves in a scenario where they could potentially beat the Raiders this week, turn around, lose to the Patriots, and be back to being only a game up for the division, right? So there's still going to be enough at stake in that game that I could see it being significant for the Chiefs and that being tricky. I'm convinced the Patriots are losing a game. You mentioned the Bills game that is in Foxborough in Week 16.
It just always seems like they're good for one.
Yeah,
letdown.
one kind of
It's
stinker.
like it just reminds me of like a college basketball team losing in the conference tournament.
Sure.
And then being like, all right, got that loss out of the way.
Now we got refocused. We're ready to go. So to me, I remain steadfast. The Ravens win out. I genuinely believe they'll be the number 1 seed. But they got to win out, right? And like that's the nasty little thing about this is you can't have that 1 week where something just doesn't go your way. Look, one goofy thing wasn't going to be the difference tonight in whether or not they lost the football game. But one goofy thing was the difference in why they beat the Seahawks a couple weeks ago. It came down to one play.
It's also kind of like why they lost to the Chiefs early on.
The Chiefs were pretty dominant.
Yeah,
that day.
but it was like the game was close and
sure,
it
absolutely.
bounced one way or the other. But the Seahawks game for sure.
So they need to keep playing at this level. They need to keep playing at this level in order to. I think the Ravens can win anywhere they play in the playoffs. I think they can. I think we all know that. You'd still rather it be in Baltimore. You'd still rather put yourself in that position where if you do have to match up with the Chiefs again.
You want it, you want it to be in your house,
right? Like you bet right now the Chiefs end up being the 3 seed, but
I think right now they were the 4. I think I looked
right,
at
but
it
they're tied
earlier.
with the Texans, so however that thing plays out, and they both still have the Patriots to go. But let's just say that the Chiefs are either they're the 4 seed, right, and there's the potential that you've got to face them in the divisional round. In Baltimore, that can be tricky. You'd rather face the Texans than face the Chiefs, frankly.
For sure.
You'd rather give the Patriots the opportunity to knock off the Chiefs before you have to face them.
Yeah.
You'd like to avoid them. I genuinely fear the Chiefs more than I fear the Texans of potential divisional round opponents. It's not a guarantee that either one of them will be there, but if that's the case, I'd rather it be the Texans than I would it be the Chiefs. So I want to put myself in the best possible position to avoid them. There's just a lot of reasons why I still think it's a big deal. But that's where we're at, man.
I think it's the same thing. I don't know if the Texans scare anyone. The Chiefs are that team that you go, it's gonna be a long week. Like thinking about them or game planning about them. It's just And again, the more time you give Mahomes to get healthy, the scarier he gets.
Oh, no question. I told you off the air about my buddy John Proctor, who did not have a great. He's won our fantasy league every year. Did not have a great draft this year, except for one pick. He got Lamar Jackson and is riding that dude to win after win after win and 50 points after 50 points after 50 effing points and absurd come from behind victories on Monday night. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I remember looking at, sitting down in my fantasy draft and looking at the ESPN cheat sheet thing and going, if anyone picks Lamar over Big Ben or Brady, I'm like, I may kick you out of the league.
They're a homer, right?
I was like, why is he ranked 11th? And now I just had a conversation with my buddy. Does he go? Is he he's gonna be the first overall quarterback in fantasy next year? Not that
he might be the first
fantasy.
overall pick
and
in
I
fantasy
said, well,
football next year.
Maybe it's gonna be like him and McCaffrey or someone like that. Like, holy crap! Like
he legitimately might have that type of value going into fantasy football next season. It's crazy. Paul, it seems the Patriots get lucky all the time with the phantom penalties and the damn weather. Yeah, that's part of what we're talking about. That's part of sort of the Patriots'
the aura
thing.
of going to Foxborough.
But I still am convinced they lose a football game between now and then. I'm genuinely convinced they're going to lose a game between now and the end of the regular season.
Well, it's just just like we saw a couple weeks ago. Like, who on the Patriots scares you?
Gilmore, I guess, because
but
offensively,
no one.
No,
Edelman is a good player, but he's not going to he's not going to burn Marcus.
Edelman
Peters
is so good
that.
at what he does, right? Like it's sitting down, finding that
spot.
a
soft zone,
exactly right.
But it's like Sony Michel isn't going to run all over. He's not going to Nick Chubb you.
Right.
And it's like, who knows what N'Keal Harry is, but he's not going to torch Marlon Humphrey, like A.J. Green, what he used to do to the Ravens.
Correct.
No one on that offense scares
you far more fear.
You fear the Patriots as like an image in your head.
Right. Than
That's
the
what
actual
you fear.
Patriots, no doubt. All right, man. We managed to get through it. It was fun because we just got to talk about how great everything is.
I've just been thinking of stuff to say since like 8:15. Game kicked off like 8:13.
So weird. It's so weird. I'm actually kind of glad I only have to do like 2.5 more shows this week because there's only so many ways to say everything is actually sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
Actually.
And again, I just thought there are going to be Thanksgiving tables, this week where people aren't going to argue because normally it's like, well, what do we do? Do you go with Joe or do you go with Lamar?
Sucks.
Now it's going to be someone like Chris Moore probably should get some snaps.
That's what we're doing.
And then someone's going to throw mashed potatoes.
We need to find something else to talk about.
Who cares about Chris Moore? That's
correct. It's exactly why
that conversation is probably going to happen at Chris Moore's house.
Oh God, that's.
I'm just saying.
That's rough. That's rough. I like Chris Moore. I got no beef with Chris Moore.
He can come to my house for Thanksgiving.
But you know what?
We will not argue about that in my house for
Great
Thanksgiving.
Point. All right. You're on Twitter at EDD22.
Yep.
People can follow you there.
Tweeting a lot of Adley Rutschman stuff.
I mean, that's what you got right now. That's
I'm
what
getting
you got.
close to him responding to me. We're getting there. I'm either going to be.
You haven't gotten anything from him at all?
He likes when
I know he likes
when I
some-
comment on his stuff on Instagram. He likes it. He's not a big Twitter guy, so I'm going
That's
the
true.
Instagram
That's a good
route.
point. That's a good point.
I DM on Instagram a lot.
What else do you have? I mean, I know you guys are working on like an event. Are we?
Yeah, we're trying to do a Jimmy fan fest type thing at Jimmy Seafood. We're kind of just crowdsourcing right now. We don't really know what we want to do. We want to do something, with fans, and because obviously Fan Fest not being there this year kind of stinks.
Yep.
But we want to still show people like, hey, they're still Oriole fans. I saw they put out some great like holiday ticket packages today. You can get like opening day and 4 other games for like $100. That's not bad.
Pretty
at all.
good. It's
That's
pretty
not-
good, man.
Pretty
good, no
people
doubt.
used to buy that just for opening day.
That's a fact.
But I mean, we're trying to do some stuff like that. So
Cool. Very good. And then you'll be back here in a couple weeks
I think
for the
so.
Bills game, I believe, is the next
think
time
so,
you're
yeah.
in.
Is that a primetime game?
No, you had all of those, yeah,
only on
right? The
primetime
Jets
schedule.
game you definitely have,
Yeah.
right? That's a primetime game for sure. I think you're in. I'll double check on that, but I think you're in for the Bills
I have the email
game.
somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. We'll go back and get that. I'm at Glenn Clark Radio tomorrow morning. Of course, Bradley Bozeman will be with us, and Kevin Harlan, who called the game the night for Westwood One, will be checking in and is just a boss because he's Kevin Harlan. And
Best
he's-
announcer in sports.
Dude, I mean, with no disrespect, this is not like a hating on Booger McFarland who's on my TV right now. That's not that. I'm saying is on radio tonight, they got Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner.
Oh, I love listening to them.
It's a Super Bowl. Like, if that was the CBS booth for the Super Bowl,
I don't think anyone would complain.
you'd say, hell yeah. They got that on radio tonight.
And like Harlan with basketball, I
dude,
think he's
amazing.
But he's like the most underrated. It's like I feel like no one ever talks
He and
about him.
Ian
Ian
Eagle
is
are,
good too.
like fly under the radar because they don't get the Nance games. They don't get
they're not Nance and
Right.
Romo or
Correct.
Buck and Aikman.
God,
So.
they're good, man. They're so good. All right, that's it. It was fun. The Ravens win by 1 billion. They're 9-2. Everything is great. This has been the Project Game Day postgame show from the Live Casino Hotel studio.